What's on YouTube? It's Pete TT coming at you with another Division video. And today I'm coming at you with my boy Dusk TT, and we're going to be talking DarkZone. In specific, making the DZ easy. Now, I know that sounds a little bit of a pun. Is that the right word? I want to use pun as well. Is that the right word? The DZ easy.
Yeah, that's I'd name it a pun.
It might be. Maybe it's not a pun. Guys, if we're using the wrong kind of term, in the comment section down below. But basically, a lot of you, especially the guys who have been tuning into our live streams, have been asking how we make the DarkZone so easy and how we manage to take on entire servers. You know, we are outnumbered 15, 16, 17 players sometimes against just the four of us, myself, Dusk, Weege and Paul. And it comes down to a lot of things, guys, you know. Some of it is the fact that we are good players. Some of it comes down to the gear we run and our setups. But there is a very, very specific list of things we think to make the DarkZone easier as a team, we can pass on to you guys. And that's kind of going to be the aim of this video. Now, we're going to split it into two videos. And the reason we're going to split it into two will be made clear to you at the end of the video, so stay tuned. But what me and Azza are going to do now is jump between the two of us, and we're going to work down a pre-written list that we have and talk about them a little bit in detail. So the first thing that comes up on the list, and probably the biggest point to take away from this entire video, guys, if you only take away one thing from this video to take into your own team, it is communication, okay? And when I say communication, I don't mean sitting there talking to your team like, yeah, I've had a brilliant day at work, I've had a crap day at work, yeah, I'm off down the pub with the missus at the weekend, oh, did you watch Star Wars on TV last night? No, guys, what I mean is tactical communication between you and your teammate. Letting your teammates know when you're running low on ammunition, letting them know that you've got agents at your 2 o'clock, at your 4 o'clock, knowing that you've got a subway exit to your left or your right, letting them know that actually you're on low ammo, you've just got your signature skill back up, you've got one clip of ammo left, or you've just put a pulse out so no one else used theirs. Being able to communicate effectively as a team on its own can mean surviving or not surviving. If you've got agents coming up behind you and you don't work as a team, you know, if you were to start firing at them yourself and not tell the rest of your team they were there until you died, you know, that's not good. As soon as you see them, being able to say, guys, agents behind us, whatever, agents are 6 o'clock, agents behind us, however you want to word it, so long as you let your team know they are there and you're communicating, then your survivability shoots through the roof and you are so much more likely to actually win the firefight and stay alive. But that is not the only thing. Although it might be the biggest thing, it is not the only thing. The next thing up on the list is setting up abilities to complement the team. Not yourself, but the team. Azza, I believe you're going to cover this one, mate, so go for it when you're ready.
I will indeed. Now, what you want to do is you want to set up your abilities that will obviously help your team. A very good one to run is 3 pulses. You could probably run 2, but 3 pulses just guarantees you that you're always going to know what's around you. And that is one of the most important things in the DarkZone, especially when you are rogue. If you're a rogue, you want to know when agents are coming and where they're coming. Because if you don't, all it takes is one agent to get the sneak up on you, and if you're not prepared, he can take you guys out. And trust me, that has happened before. Another thing I'd advise running is ammo cache. This really helps if you're a rogue. You find somewhere, you hunker down, and the ammo cache just supplies you with a constant supply of ammo, so you're not going to run low, which is a major situation if you're going rogue for a while, especially when you hit that manhunt. Obviously, 5 minutes of shooting at people kind of uses a lot of ammo. If you're running 2 pulses, I'd also advise someone who uses something like Smart Cover. This will just help you get that extra damage and extra damage resistance against your players that you're coming across and that kind of stuff. Now, I believe that's the main things about setting up your abilities. Obviously, the pulses are the most important thing, and next to the ammo cache. And I believe the next thing we are going to talk about is how we want to use a team that we know. And do not expect to have a good team from a matchmaking.
Yes, indeed. Now, we've all at some point between ourselves tried matchmaking in the DarkZone, and it doesn't go well. You know, I'm not saying, guys, that every single time you matchmake into a team in the Dark Zone, they're going to be crap. We've actually met some pretty good people while playing. But 9 times out of 10, when you go into matchmaking, you do get royally screwed over by decisions your team make. Maybe the fact they're in a party and they don't invite you in, so you have no line of communication with them. Maybe they only care about themselves and not you because you're just a random and they don't know you. The bottom line of it is, guys, if you want to do well in the Dark Zone, get yourself a team, okay? I'm not saying it's got to be a 4-man team, maybe a 3-man team. Okay, but find yourself a team, practice with each other, get to know each other, and when you go in the Dark Zone, run with that team. You see us running all the time. Now, we don't always run as a 4-man on stream. Quite often, actually, there's only 3 of us because someone's doing something else, and we get one of you guys in, but we can still run effectively as a team and keep those rogues, manhunts, and things like that going, and we don't tend to die too often. We do die, but not too often. So yeah, try and stay away from matchmaking, guys. Get yourself a good team. Moving on to the next thing then. Very, very important. Not as important as communication, because if you don't have good communication, then this next point won't actually help you very much at all either. But if you've got good communication, then this next point is kind of bang on, and that is know the area you are in. Azza, you want to talk about this one, mate?
Sure. Well, obviously you want to know exactly where you're going to run, set up places that you know that you can easily hold off, such as underground, up on a few places. I know it's very good, but underground's my main one. You just want to know exactly where you're going and also have a backup plan. Like, for instance, you say, if we're going to run into agents here, we can't take them on, then we'll run left and go here. That is just a really helpful point, and it will really help you in the Dark Zone. Now, if you do get split up, then obviously you want to not run behind your teammates because no, you don't want to end up behind your teammates because obviously there's going to be agents running after them and you don't want to run into them. So a good thing to do is set up an area that you know is easy to hold off, that has 2 entrances, and each come through different entrances, and then hold off and take out that agents that were chasing you. It's just that you just want to know exactly where you're going, always have a plan, and always know what you can do with your surroundings. It's just one of the main things that can help you.
Yeah,
Now,
indeed. Like, spatial awareness is a massive point of the Dark Zone, guys. It's not just knowing what's around you in the area you're fighting in, it's knowing where you're going. So we have spent as a team so much time in DZ 6, 5 and 4 because that is where we like to play the most. You know, we love that kind of area. There's a lot of high-rise buildings, there's a lot of underground, there's a lot of short, narrow passages that we can set ambush for other agents on and survive. So knowing not only where you are and what's around you, but knowing what's around the area you're going into as well is a massive key point. That leads nicely, as I said, to make sure you've got a route as your team, but not only have a route, have a plan, because routes and plans don't always go to plan. You know, things happen, someone might die, you might get split up and things like that, and there are a few things to kind of keep in mind when that happens, because when a teammate dies, or you kind of, if you've set out to do something specific and you go off route, off plan, someone dies, maybe you get jumped by agent and two of your teammates go left and 2 of your teammates go right, that can instantly lead to panic. Okay, you've got rogue timers on your head, the whole server might be descending on you trying to kick your ass and take those DZ credits and XP. Knowing what to do in that situation is very, very key. As a team, we are very good at that. We kind of know what we're going to do because we all know where we like to hold off, and it will be a case of very quick decisions. Right, we are here, the nearest point that we know we can regroup, and there's more than one way in, but we can lock that area down, is this place or that place, and we will make that decision very, very quickly and then head to said landmark or said rooftop where we can regroup. You know, work out what happens, you know, why we're running. We're like, okay, we're coming into this area with 2 agents. We're coming into this area with 3 agents behind us. And we kind of help each other. You know, the first team there, if me and Azza were first on scene, one of us would look one way, one would look the other way, and we would try and cover the other teammates trying to get into that position without going down. And then we kind of just regroup and start again. So it is really, really key to have some kind of backup. to going in the dark zone, all right, in case it goes wrong. And guys, above all, do not panic. Things are going to go wrong when you go rogue, aren't they, Azza? We've had it so many times. Things don't always go to plan, but you've got to be able to adapt and overcome to the situation you are given in game, guys. Let's move on then, because that kind of covers a massive bit. You know, if someone dies, if you split up as a team, we've covered pretty much running out of ammo and using ammo caches. When outnumbered, this is like a really big point, especially after our last stream the other day. We had the entire server descend on us and we were stuck on a set of stairs. What do you do when you're outnumbered in the dark zone, mate?
Well, what you definitely want to do is you want to pop that signature skill. That will help you either survive or take them down really fast, depending on what you're running. But that will definitely be one of the main things you got to remember to do, and you got to remember to call it out so you don't overlap signature skills, unless you're running, say, a blue and a yellow. That they really work good together. But what you would also want to do is you want to lead them into something that's like a bottleneck, such as the stairs we were on. They can only come from forward. They could come from behind, but that would take them ages. And obviously, with the mentality they were having, they wanted to get us down, and they knew they were in a big group. They had a good chance, but little did they know that we had 4 SMGs sitting at that stairs ready for them. And that's the kind of thing you want to do. You want to lead them into a bottleneck so you have one focus point for every single member of your team, and you can easily wipe them out.
Let me jump in real quick there, Azza. Okay, guys, you lot know my history, okay? I'm ex-British Army. So there are a lot of things you can actually take from real life into game. And it's not just the Division, it's Call of Duty and other things like that. And like I said, being able to funnel your enemy into a killing zone and take them on in your grounds and not theirs is very, very effective, okay? You saw it, we used it against almost an entire server the other day on stream. We basically got to the top of the stairs. There was, like, every agent in the server was waiting at the top of that stairs for us. The first thing we did was pop defensive skill and fell back to the bottom of the stairs, okay? From there, we used incendiary grenades and flashbangs, 2 men at a time. Where 2 people popped them out, the other 2 guys were banging on explosive rounds. And then we were aiming at the stairs. Yeah, okay, we were hard scoping, waiting for them to come to us. But those agents pushed down them stairs and we dropped about 4 to 5 agents in half a mag because we were all concentrating fire. They were expecting us to run away and we stood our ground because we had the high ground. They were in our killing zone. We were taking them on our terms and we won. They weren't expecting it. They come around the corner, weapons down rather than weapons up, and we got the drop on them. It works very well, okay? But that does lead on to a very, very key moment, okay? We are very confident in our abilities. We can make very quick decisions and know when to run away and when not. A very important thing in going rogue in the dark zone. If you are outnumbered, know when to run away from a fight, okay? You are not always going to win your fights. Sometimes you will, sometimes you won't, things like that. You need to know when it is good to stand your ground and when to run away. I will hold my hands up. A few times I've made bad decisions and it's cost the entire team, you know, us all dying. Other times it's worked really well and, you know, we've run off our manhunts very easily without any kind of trouble. It happens, guys, but you've got to just very quickly make that decision, okay? It's not always the best choice to stay and fight. Sometimes getting away can be just as good for the team as standing your ground. Now, I believe as we've covered, when we're outnumbered, when we've run out of ammo, what happens if we split up? What happens if we die? We've covered having a plan. We've covered having a route. We've covered matchmaking. We've covered communication. And we've covered setting up our team to complement each other. There are, however, a few things left to talk about. I'm going to throw one at you and then I'm going to cover one myself. Have set team roles. Do you want to cover that one?
Yeah, I can cover this. A really useful thing is have a dedicated healer, a dedicated marksman, which I like to take that role personally. I know Paul likes to be the kind of healer type of guy. He runs tacticians, and that really helps with his ability to heal us. I run Sentry's Call, which obviously that's the dedicated marksman set, but it also works really good for when they come close to me. I have my backup SMG, and that also works really good in that situation. We also run two strikers, Weege and Pete. We know Pete is the main push forward striker. I usually push forward with him when I'm not taking that marksman role, because the sentry's call and the strikers work so good together. It is unreal,
Oh, they really
especially
do.
against agents.
They really do. You tag them up
Oh
once or
yeah.
twice and give me increased damage. Add that to the striker ability, guys, the striker talent. My 300 to 400,000 DPS when I've got my full talent up, combined with the times 4 damage from Azza, we can absolutely wreck agents. Sorry, mate, I jumped in on
Oh
you there.
yeah.
Carry on.
That's fine. So the main point from taking to that is have people in roles that they're also comfortable with. If you're, say, a pushy up guy like me, but you also like to use a marksman, you're not going to be the best healer, as you're not going to be used to having to look at everybody else's health, uh, seeing where they're heading and all that kind of stuff. You're just not going to be used to it. So definitely make sure you're used to your role before you go and jump in and say be that healer or be that push up guy. Um, Definitely take a role that you're used to and you're comfortable with. If you're not comfortable with it, then discuss with your team who may be more comfortable. That's definitely a main point. Um, a good thing to do is obviously run appropriate skills for your role. Healers, you want to be using obviously the self heal and maybe life support. If you're not using that pulse, uh, that will just really help you and your team, especially life support, giving you automatic revives. And you know, the same for the other classes. You want to use perks and abilities that will complement your playstyle and make you do better as your role. But having a set role definitely helps. If you're all say pushing, it may work, but it's not going to be good if you do get yourself in a situation where you need a sniper, you need someone that's going to be healing you, because obviously if you're all four pushing, you're going to be taking all damage, and maybe it works like that. But I believe that having set roles does really help, and I believe the optimal roles are a marksman, a healer, and two pushers. Um, I believe that's all.
Fair enough. Another good point as well to say there, like I said, very good to make sure everyone's got said roles, but it is also a very good point, guys, to make sure that everybody can at least step into someone else's role on the short term. You know, if
Oh
Azza
yeah.
dies, I take up the marksman role. If Paul dies, Weege has the next best electronic, so he will step into that health role. So being able to quickly swap between people's job roles until, you know, if someone dies or you get split up until you're, you know, back as a 4-man again, it's very, very good to be able to do that. Right, the last note for this episode then, guys, is know how to and when to use signature skills, offensively and defensively, okay? What I mean by this, guys, is knowing when to use your signature skill, okay? You can use it in a various amount of ways effectively. Like we said earlier, we hit the stairs, the agents were there, we banged up our sig skill so we didn't die. We use that to push forward for about 5 or 6 seconds because they weren't expecting it. That then pushed the players back, and then we fell back ourselves. That is a kind of an offensive way of using your signature skill, you know, popping it. And then we use security link, so we can take a lot of damage. Where 9 times out of 10, if there's only like 1 or 2 agents and we have to pop it for whatever reason, we will get very, very pushy, because we know 4 people pushing with a 6 skill makes it very hard to kill. That being said, using your skill defensively, okay, the signature skill also makes you very, very quick. So if you have to kind of get out of there on your heels as fast as possible, popping a signature skill and being able to increase the gap between you and other agents is very good as well. Especially combined with knowing your area. So, you know, a quick left, a quick right, a quick left, a quick right. Using that signature skill, you're going to lose other players very quickly. It can also be used defensively in another very good way, especially in DZ 6 and 5. I wouldn't say this would work down in 1 and 2 because the AI aren't really much to compete with, but especially in 6 and 5, okay, if you're getting chased by agents and you run across AI, use that security link, okay, get yourself through the AI, without the taking damage, without losing teammates, get through quickly because of the increased movement speed. But the important thing is, don't shoot the AI, okay? You've already aggravated them by running through them. They are aware now, they're looking. When the other agents come up behind you, again, you guys seen it on stream the other day, we use signature skills to run through hordes of AI. Agents that were following us got slowed down by that AI because they didn't have a signature skill. 2, 3 of them got killed while fighting that AI. A few of them backed off because they were low health. A couple of them made it through. We were then only fighting like 3 or 4 agents rather than 10 or 11 agents, okay? So your signature skills can be used very, very effectively, offensively and defensively. Guys, I think it's been a very long episode. I wasn't quite planning it to be 20 odd minutes long, okay? If you stayed this long, thank you very much. I hope these tips help you. This is only part 1, okay? Part 2 is going to cover something very specific. That is, make a route, have a plan, and know your area. Basically, me and the team are going to head into the Dark Zone. We are going to show you around our favourite areas to hold off manhunts, our favourite choke points to lead enemy players into, knowing we have the better ground to fight them on and win the firefight and things like that. Basically, these next few videos are going to try and throw as much hints, tips, guides, things like that your way to make the Dark Zone a little bit easier, and hopefully you can have a bit more fun. As always, guys, any comments you've got, please leave them in the section down below. We'd love to hear what you think about these episodes. If you would like to see more of them, then obviously we will do more of them. If you don't, we won't. If you're watching this and haven't subscribed to the channel yet, then please make sure to do so, because there are plenty more Division videos coming your way. As always, thank you very much for watching, and until the next video, we'll catch you all soon.